Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Quack&Co, the channel where everything is 10 minutes or less all the time, every time, and this is Kickstarter Speed Roundup, which usually is on Wednesday, or usually it's late on Wednesday. Videos on this channel, by the way, generally go up at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This particular video series is often late because Tuesday night I have streaming Gloomhaven on Twitch. Wednesday morning I have a live stream, which results in a very low bandwidth in which I can actually get this video done. And all the Kickstarters go up on Tuesday, so it has to be done late Tuesday. Basically, I probably should switch the day anyway. That's not the reason it's late today. The reason it's late today is because Wednesday instead, we did a video on Mythic Games, yes Mythic, just not Mythic Mischief, Mythic Games and Darkest Dungeon and the increased shipping costs. That's not material here. The conversation here is around the Kickstarters we're going to be covering in the remaining 1 minute and 9 minutes and 10 seconds that I have left to talk about this. So let's go ahead and dive into it, starting off with Board Game Day. Board Game Day, $7,000 raised, 325 backers. Board Game Day is a game, well, it's a book. It's a book about board games. If you have kids, if you have young kids, and you want beautifully illustrated board games, well, books about board games that you can go ahead and get into. Well, they don't have beautifully illustrated books about board games, maybe one day. Right now, they have beautifully illustrated book about board games. From the same comic, the same people who do the art and the drawings for a semi-co-op, a little comic strip. And from Ambi Valdez, who does a whole bunch of various songs about board games and different things around board games, different parodies around board games. Board Game Day, currently on Kickstarter, 325 backers, $7,600 raised. This is Board Game Day for the next 27 days. That's how long it'll be on here. I might be diving more into this one over on Quack&Co, so keep your eyes peeled to that. But in the meantime, here is Board Game Day, currently available for $20 for the game, plus additional if you want, $120 for a personalized board game verse. That's what we have over here. From there, we have Aquamarine for £4, $5 for a print-and-play game from the same people who brought you Voyages, a previous print-and-play game. And this one is going to be bringing you a game which you're going to be rolling 2 dice every round and using the 2 dice in order to figure out where your diver is moving and how big a space they are in capturing as they wander around the board, but being mindful of the fact that if you choose the higher dice and you have the difference between the 2 dice, you'll be having to manage and fill up your tanks of air as you go. So you're trying to balance all these things as you generally are, as you wander around the map, as you wander to different locations and try to capture various things. I've played Voyages. I like Voyages, but this is print and play only. So if you want a physical game, that's not this, but they do have options for playing on your screen or different itch.io or different options. They have ways to go ahead and play this if you go ahead and back it as well. Not all pen and paper, bunch of options, playable 1 to 100 players, which basically means 1 to infinite number of players in theory, 8 plus, 30-minute playtime. I really enjoyed Voyages. I may end up getting this against my better judgment. They've just done such a great job as far as the production value and making this look amazing. I am compelled when I say against my better judgment, not because the game's not good, but because practically speaking, I have a harder time playing print and plays. I usually play final copies of games instead. But we'll see. Maybe I'll dive into it. Anyways, from there, next up, we have Nexus Arena Combat System over on GameFound. $23,000 raised, 196 backers. Nexus is an arena combat game that was on Kickstarter, and this is a follow-up just to raise money for their next printing. You have the same game, not the next printing, for it's ready to print, they're ready to go to the factory. You're basically hitting this as late as you can get while still getting your hands on this before it's actually showing up on retail, if it is showing up on retail. This is Nexus Arena Combat System. As far as price point over here, they have, if I can go ahead and find this, we have the pledges, the rewards, the money shot. We have the money shot for, where is this, over here, $120 to get your hands on this game. Don't know much about it past the fact that it's a skirmish system. Looks fun. Looks okay. Lots of games look fun and okay. The question is it worth $120? That requires more research than we have in these Quack&Co speed rounds. Speaking of which, if you want to go ahead and check out BoardgameCo over on YouTube, he has a bunch of Kickstarter roundups every single Monday that go into a lot more detail for better or for worse. Next up, we have Quodd Heroes 2nd Edition. $55,000 raised, 516 backers, doing well on the one hand, but sadly, I'm kind of expecting a cancellation at this point. They might make it, don't get me wrong. They might do entirely fine. Where they are currently is enough to actually fund, but also not so much that I'm 100% confident, which is a shame because Quodd Heroes is a fantastic game. I really enjoyed this one, and I've been waiting for this Kickstarter for a year. Quodd Heroes is a game that has elements of Robo Rally, elements of programming, as you tumble your creatures around the board, trying to utilize different mechanics to get to where you want. It is such a fun system. It is a slightly complicated system. This is a game that takes a lot out of your system to table it. You need to be playing it on a semi-regular basis to remember all the details, but they have a lot of cards, a lot of abilities, lots of terrain effects, lots of everything as you engage with cooperative or competitive or solo different modes of play as you try to figure out the puzzle of navigation in this game. I really enjoyed this one. This and Mechs vs. Minions are 2 of my favorite programming games. I really, really like it, and I'm kind of optimistic for well, I hope it funds. They're gonna have a retail edition of the game for $49 with a little dialed back components, and then a deluxe edition for $120, as well as an upgrade kit if you are someone from the first edition for $40 over there. Plus, you can spend a whole lot more if you're willing to get your hands on things like the actual boxes or the full-on crate. There's a crate over here that's insanely cool looking. I want it, but cannot justify it over here. We have $400 in order to get your hands on this giant trove chest of a crate that looks absolutely amazing. but also I don't think I can justify. I don't play this game enough to justify that game. I don't, but they have a more reasonable insert available. If you just want the regular deluxe wooden organizer for $80, that's a different conversation entirely. Anyways, moving on from there to Silver Coin Age of Monster Hunters. 775 backers, $73,000 raised. Silver Coin Age of Monster Hunters is doing fairly well in its first few days of well, being live at the moment. And this one is giving you a Witcher-like experience as you wander around trying to engage with the various, trying to bid on the various hunters you want, the various the extras they have, the various stuff that they start with. You're going through a bidding mechanism of trying to reverse bid to get these things, and then going around the actual game board trying to navigate and level up and engage with the monsters and kind of claim the monsters and fight the monsters. It's Witcher adjacent as far as what the game's doing. I highly recommend checking out Chris George from Room and Board has a review of the game. He played on TTS and he has some coverage of it, but overall you can check out that. But this is one that's going to be coming in at roughly $80, I believe. No, a little more than that. We have $88 for the base pledge, and then $149 for the deluxe collectors all in, which gives you coins and mats and metal dice trays and all these extras over here. But $88 will give you the gameplay that you're looking for as far as Silver Coin Age of Monster Hunters. This is an ambitious game. This is a big game. This is a game that will take up a lot of table space. I don't know what the final plans are. I know prototype-wise, this takes up a lot of table space as far as just the sheer size of everything going on here. This is a big experience, an ambitious experience. I highly recommend Chris George's review. I thought it really did a good job of capturing the way I felt with the game. Haven't reviewed it or played it. There will not be full coverage from me, but it gave a good job of capturing the way I felt about it from what I did see. Moving on, we have Burncycle New Recruits and Series Reprint, $213,000 raised, 1,848 backers. Honestly, doing well, but not as well as I expected for this one. Right now we have Star Realms beating this, and we have Moonrakers knocking it out of the park. Those are going to be the last two campaigns. Burncycle is going to be a reprint campaign that gives you the option to get your hands on Burncycle if you missed it, as well as an opportunity to get the new content, which consists of a few things. It consists of the specific stretch goals that are in this campaign over here. Oh, they did include this. Perfect. They included my video over there. I'm happy they did because I like the game, so it makes sense. But anyways, going back to the actual Quack&Co and how to play. Where are the pledge levels? Where are the pledge levels? GameFound gives you navigation. I just didn't use the navigation instead. We have Covray, we have bots. Where are the pledge levels? Let's go to over here. We're running out of time over here. We're down to 3 minutes. Let's just tap over here. We have pledge level, rewards, all gameplay bundle over here. Let's look at the new gameplay. New gameplay is going to give you 3 things. For $45, you're going to be looking at 3 things. The Renegades bot pack, which I believe is 4 new bots to add to your game. We have the Ebwall Corporation, which is a new corporation. I like and welcome the extra content. Also probably unnecessary if you already have everything so far. And then we have the Robophobia micro expansion, which is the contents of these stretch goals that get unlocked across the course of this campaign. Past that, they also have optional buys, including, but not limited to, more brass mags, if I can find them. I don't know where they are. There's brass mags somewhere in this list over here where you can go ahead and get your hands on the brass mags, which are very, very cool, very, very expensive. Make sure you know that you want them. Here we go. I have to scroll sideways. We have the Specialist, the Microphobia, the brass mags, volume 1 and 2, $75 for each of those. There's going to be a lot of content here, a lot of ways you can spend money on this to upgrade and deluxify this game. The brass mags are something else. They're very cool. You also don't need them to enjoy your game. Second last, we have Star Realms Rise of Empire. Every time I read that, I think Star Realms Rise of the Empire or Rise of an Empire, but it's Rise of Empire. Star Realms Rise of Empire, a legacy game of Star Realms. You can play Legacy with a repeatable, replayable legacy game. Not infinitely playable as in the sense that you can play it forever from when you left off, but you can restart and replay, restart and replay. For $80, you're going to be looking at the Infinite Replay tier, which gives you the tools you need to play through the campaign and keep replaying it. Or for $60, you have the regular Legacy tier over there. This is giving you Star Realms with a bunch of games to play through Star Realms. I like Star Realms in general. I have coverage of this game if you want to check it out. It's an expensive way to jump into Star Realms in general. If you're not sure about this, I'd honestly recommend just picking up a regular copy of Star Realms for $20 and seeing if you like the game. But if you do like the game, this is more Star Realms with more content, with a campaign progression. I think it's the kind of thing you'll enjoy. Whether you enjoy it enough to spend 3 to 4 times as much as you would on regular Star Realms, that's a different question. You'll have to ask yourself that one. But this is Star Realms Rise of Empire, a legacy campaign version of playing Star Realms. And lastly, with a minute left to go, we have Moonrakers Titan. $1 million raised, $1 million. It's insane. Good for you, Ivy Games. 6,400 backers, 24 days to go. Moonrakers Titans is giving you a whole bunch of stuff. It's giving you 3 expansions. It's giving you Luminor. Luminor is technically free. It's a free way to play the game where you can play it solo or co-op using your basic Moonrakers game, or you can integrate all the expansions in any number of different ways, so you have all the content, all the stuff. It's also giving you a big box at the same time. And then, of course, they're giving you like ways to spend $400 if you want absolutely everything, from metal hematite dice to metal ships to metal this to metal that. Ivy Games generally likes doing their metal stuff, and that's going to be true over here. This is not a cheap game, not by any means. You have to know that you want this. There's a lot of money to spend. Base game will come in around $110, $120. I can't remember exact pledge level over here, and we're running out of time. If you want the Titans and all the expansions, that'll be like another $120. If you want absolutely everything, that'll be like nearly $200 or $180. And if you want all the metal stuff, that will bring you close to $400. There's a lot of ways to spend money here. And with that, we are running out of time, so I'm going to call this quits on this. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Quack&Co, where less time watching means more time playing.